Cove.
Hey Cove, hi.
Pastor Dan and Ann here. We are at the Cove today for a midweek update. It's Wednesday. We are standing in front of the cool Cove Circle project poster. It is getting windy. You might hear that. It's maybe going to rain. You might hear that. There's cars driving through, so you'll probably hear that. And the ASAP kids are playing outside, so you'll probably hear that. So hopefully you can hear us as well.
Yeah.
So I was thinking this morning, we're not quite, but we are almost at 1 year since all of this COVID craziness started. And as I have talked to people in this year and taken walks and been on Zoom calls and all those things, I've heard a lot of use of the word overwhelming. I feel overwhelmed during this time. Does that resonate for you, Ann B?
Oh yes. Overwhelming on a big scale and a small scale. So like on the big scale, just the depth and the breadth and the unforeseen part of this whole thing overwhelms me sometimes. And on a smaller kind of personal scale, just all the screens, like I have almost a visceral response to just being kind of closed into screens and Zooms and emails and things stacking up and needing to communicate that way. That gets overwhelming. I'm a much more of a free-flowing, spacious kind of liking person. So yeah, how about you?
You know, I like to think of myself, and I think I usually am, as a pretty even keel person and not too up and down, but I've definitely had some times of being overwhelmed, and I think it relates more to us not being able to travel, which relates to us not getting to see our kids in person,
families,
our folks kind of stuck indoors up in Seattle, and then with you folks from the Cove as well, just really not being able to do much in-person stuff, and at times that's felt overwhelming.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. So I also think I've had some overwhelming moments, as I know we all have, from so many other things going on, from the volatility of politics to the racial issues and the violent protests and all of these things kind of coming at us over and over and over. So I was happy to be able to open my cool little book of Every Holy Moment liturgy book, and on page 157, which I am turning to as I speak, I think, there we go, I found this great liturgy called A Liturgy for Those Flooded by Too Much Information. A liturgy for those flooded by too much information. And I just want to read it a little bit at the beginning and then at the end again. It says, in a world so wired and interconnected, our anxious hearts are pummeled by an endless barrage of troubling news. We are daily aware of more grief, O Lord, than we can rightly consider, of more suffering and scandal than we can respond to, of more hostility, hatred, horror, and injustice than we can engage with compassion. And then skipping down. So give us discernment in the face of troubling news reports. Give us discernment to know when to pray, when to speak out, when to act, and when to simply shut off our screens and our devices and to sit quietly in your presence, casting the burdens of this world on the strong shoulders of the one who alone is able to bear them up. And I love that, cast our cares. It reminds me of the 1 Peter scripture, cast all your anxiety on the Lord because he cares for you. So all of that doesn't mean that we hibernate or disengage from the work and the conversations that need to happen in our culture, but we can prayerfully discern what we do and when we do it and how we do it, and it's just a reminder to seek God's wisdom for how to do all this, because we haven't done this before, so we really need God. So that's the thought for today. A couple of quick reminders.
Saturday it is the contemplative prayer time in the morning at 8:30 for an hour. And then Friday in the Cove Connections, there will be a notice about that. So if you want to watch for that.
Great. And then this coming Sunday is February 7th, and the weather forecasters are saying should be really nice. And we will meet for worship at our normal 10:30 a.m. hour, and we'll meet out here in the south parking lot, the one off the Wickiup entrance. Bring a lawn chair, bring a mask. We will socially distance. Bring a coat, because even if it's going to be nice, it's going to be cool on Sunday morning. But it would be great to be together. If weather starts to change and look bad, we'll let you know. And just like last week, we would have to pivot and postpone it and do a live stream from inside. But at this point, we'll worship outside, and we also will live stream it in case you can't be here for that. So that's a couple reminders, a lot of other things in the newsletter that comes on Friday, and in the meantime, God bless. Take care.
Bye-bye.